Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Liz Reddy. Today's top stories. Nursing homes across Waterford remain closed to visitors over the coronavirus, while Ireland's Six Nations match against France is being postponed. Unite Union have criticised the HSE for not doing enough to prevent the strike by cleaners at University Hospital Waterford. Garda Commissioner Drew Harris says Waterford's road network and future population growth were key reasons behind locating the new divisional HQ in the city. And in sport, Waterford will travel to Nolan Park to face Kilkenny in next Sunday's league quarter-final. Ireland's Six Nations match against France is being postponed. It's the latest event to be affected by the spread of the coronavirus. It comes as the Taoiseach decides to cut short his Patrick's Day trip to the US to stay and deal with COVID-19. Leo Varadkar had been due to travel to New York tomorrow for meetings at the UN, but will skip that. 21 cases of the coronavirus have now been confirmed in the Republic. Health Minister Simon Harris admits there's a moderate to high risk that our outbreak will follow a similar pattern to countries like Italy and France.
So there is a moderate to high likelihood that we're going to see a significant amount of cases and indeed a rapid escalation of cases. What we're doing at the moment is we're concluding a modelling exercise, which is basically our best estimate at how this may take off in Ireland, how this may map out over the coming days and weeks. It is important to say it's only an estimate because this is a virus the world didn't know about 12 weeks ago. So we're learning more about it every day.
Here at home, a decision on St Patrick's Day parades will be made in the next 24 to 48 hours. Many smaller parades across the country have already been called off, including Dungarvan and Cappoquin in County Waterford. Richard Guiney from Dublin Town says the parade in Dublin attracts up to 500,000 people and marks the start of the tourist season.
It'd be disappointing if it doesn't happen in the way it was. It was disappointing that the Italian match didn't happen over the weekend, but obviously, everybody understands the wider implications and the attempts to reduce the spread of the virus. So if the medical experts feel that, we need to postpone it for this year, then obviously everybody will be guided by that.
Strict visitor restrictions are still in place at University Hospital Waterford due to infection control concerns. Anyone with any queries about visiting times should ring the hospital directly. The South-South-West Hospital Group announced the measure across all of its facilities. They're also encouraging people to contact their GP or out-of-hours service first and explore all other options before presenting at emergency departments if their needs are not urgent. And nursing homes across Waterford remain closed to visitors over the coronavirus. Havenwood in Ballygunner, Killure Bridge, Mooncoin Residential Care Centre, Rockshire Care Centre Ferrybank, May Park House Nursing Home and St Joseph's Home Ferrybank all decided to ban visitors last Friday. Only residents who are receiving end-of-life care will be permitted visitors. The nursing homes say they're awaiting government guidelines in the next 24 to 48 hours on visitor restrictions. Unite Union have criticised the HSE for not doing enough to prevent the strike by cleaners at University Hospital Waterford. 125 staff who are employees of contract company Momentum Support are returning to work today after an agreement was reached on part of their grievance. Pickets were lifted yesterday afternoon after 13 days. Unite's Tony Kelly says the HSE failed to ensure that the company they gave a contract to adhered to proper industrial relations procedures.
They're the ones brought in this company into the hospital. From my own perspective, I feel they had a huge role to play here, which I believe they didn't do enough. The HSE themselves would be bound by agreements in relation to public service agreements. I think they failed in terms of telling Momentum that when they're under the roof of the hospital, they should abide by industrial relations policies in maintaining good industrial relations within the hospital.
In a statement, Momentum Support confirmed that an agreement had been reached with its staff to return to work at UHW with immediate effect. Following discussions over the weekend facilitated by the Workplace Relations Commission, arrangements in relation to location of work and work duties were agreed on a temporary basis, subject to further talks at the Labour Court. The company has welcomed this development and acknowledges the effort of the WRC in reaching the agreement. Garda Commissioner Drew Harris says Waterford's road network and its future population growth were the key reasons behind locating the new divisional headquarters in the city. The Waterford division will merge with Carlow Kilkenny with a HQ located in Ballybricken. Drew Harris met with the Joint Policing Committee in City Hall.
Just in terms of the availability of the road network, the premises, but also then the scheduled growth which Waterford's to see. So that meant that it made sense in terms of the distribution of headquarter type functions. But I would want to emphasise that we're delivering a localised policing service. It isn't really about where the Chief Superintendent is, it's about the connection then with the local Gardaí, the Sergeant and the Inspector.
He wants Gardaí to be more visible.
What we want to see in the new division is improved quality of service. We want to be able to have more of our services at a local level, be it the protective service units dealing with the vulnerable, be it a localised response in terms of seizing criminal assets or dealing with fraud, together with then a real focus on community policing and more Gardaí out in the streets and visible.
A man's been released from Garda custody in Waterford following questioning about possession of drugs for sale and supply. He was arrested yesterday by the Waterford Divisional Drug Unit, who are on patrol in the Lismore Park area of the city. They stopped and searched a vehicle and discovered a quantity of cocaine valued at just over €3,000. The man was brought to Waterford Garda Station and detained under the Drug Trafficking Act. A search warrant was obtained for a search of a property in Waterford City last night, where a large quantity of cocaine was located, worth approximately €21,000. There was also a mixing agent located in the premises along with other drug paraphernalia. The man was questioned and later released, and a file is being prepared for the Director of Public Prosecutions. Part of a County Waterford premises was closed by the Food Safety Authority last month. A rear external yard was being used to smoke meats at the Polish grocery Janoski at 17 Mary Street, Dungarvan. A HSE inspector found the yard wasn't suitable for the production of food and that obsolete equipment and refuse were also stored there. The area was closed on the 21st of February last.
WLR Sport.
With thanks to the Waterford Viking Marathon. Register now at waterfordvikingmarathon.com.
Very good afternoon, I'm Gavin, Whelan, starting with Gaelic Games, and Waterford will play away to Kilkenny in the quarter-finals of the Alliance National Hurling League next Sunday. There was a coin toss to decide which team got home advantage, which Kilkenny won, and the game will go ahead in Nolan Park at 2 p.m. next Sunday afternoon. The Dayshow were beaten by table-toppers Limerick on Saturday night in the Gaelic grounds, 121 to 117, the full-time score in that one. The other quarter-final tie will see Wexford take on Galway after their win over Tipperary yesterday. That game will be played in Chadwick's Wexford Park on Saturday at 3 p.m. We'll get further reaction to the weekend's action on our On The Ball show this evening, coming up at 6:10 here on WLR. Next to news of ladies football, the Waterford ladies went out to Dublin 4-5 to 13 points at Fairfield yesterday in Division 1 of the National League. All-Ireland champions Dublin storming back from 7 points down to claim victory there. Siobhan Woods, Noel Healy, Carla Rowe and Sinead Ahern all raised green flags for the Sky Blues. Taoiseach boss Kieran Kearns says that they need one more win to maintain their Division 1 status.
Well, look, if we have to stay in Division 1, it looks like that we need to win one of our last two games, and we have Westmeath and we've Cork. So winning any of those two games, and I think we'll be okay, depending on results. So Westmeath is the next one up, so we'll be focusing on that.
Next to news of rugby, and the French government have confirmed that Ireland's Six Nations meeting with France in Paris this Saturday has been postponed due to fears over the coronavirus. The decision was announced by the Sports Minister earlier this morning, although Six Nations officials are yet to comment. With Italy versus England already postponed, it's reported that both games are expected to be played on Saturday, October 31st. It's the second of Ireland's 5 games to be postponed ahead of the scheduled visit of Italy last Saturday was also chalked off due to fears over COVID-19. As things stand, Saturday's meeting of Wales and Scotland is set to go ahead. Meanwhile, the second leg of PSG's Champions League match with Borussia Dortmund will be played in an empty stadium because of coronavirus. French police have confirmed fans will no longer be able to attend. Dortmund lead the last 16 clash 2-1. Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola insists he was happy with his side's performance despite their derby defeat yesterday. His team lost 2-0 to Manchester United at Old Trafford in the Premier League, their third defeat in 4 games against their City rivals this season. The result means Liverpool move a step closer to winning a first title in 30 years, needing just 2 more victories to be crowned champions. Despite yesterday's slip-up, Guardiola says he's happy with the performance of his side.
I'm satisfied for the way they play. I know we lost, but I like the game we played. I like it. I'm sorry. When I don't like it, I tell you. Most of the time we have the ball, we try to create it, but the way we play was good.
Leicester City can move within 4 points of second place Man City tonight if they get the better of struggling Aston Villa. Brendan Rodgers' side have gone 4 games without a league win, but did break their poor run with victory against Birmingham in the FA Cup last week. Villa start the day in the relegation zone, 2 points adrift of 17th place Watford. Next to news of golfer Rory McIlroy had a disappointing finish at the Arnold Palmer Invitational over the course of the weekend. Sports news on WLR thanks to WaterfordVikingMarathon.com.